So here in St. Paul, the top Democrats across the state and even the country, many of them congresswomen, are here to discuss the ongoing immigration enforcement operation and to basically slam it. They held a hearing to hear from people they say are impacted and to demand ICE leave Minneapolis.
We have a clear understanding that the President of the United States wants to punish our state. This is clear brutality that we are facing. And it is unconscionable, the level of unconstitutionality that this administration has authorized.
Congresswoman Ilhan Omar and Pramila Jayapal, along with Senator Amy Klobuchar, Mayor Jacob Frey, and Attorney General Keith Ellison are here. Lawmakers accused of ICE of civil rights violations, racial profiling, and dangerous tactics. Well, so far, I haven't heard much from the lawmakers on the arrest made as DHS continues to tout those arrests, including perpetrators of fraud, thieves, and drug traffickers. A video from last night shows protests and arrests continuing outside the federal building, with demonstrators blocking entrances, trying to climb fences, and federal police at times using tear gas. DHS reports 12 agitators were arrested last night alone. Well, the tensions come as Homeland Security says attacks on agents have contributed to 2 shootings involving ICE agents in the area over the past week and a half. 2 nights ago, vandals destroyed ICE vehicles, even stealing important documents and other government property. The FBI announced a $100,000 reward for information leading to arrest of those responsible. DHS says 1 person was arrested and will be prosecuted. But not everybody is opposing what ICE is doing here in the Twin Cities area. I did catch up with one woman. Her name is Christina Mueller. She said she posted a video on TikTok talking about how she likes what ICE is doing and that people in her community are happy as well.
So ICE was just in my suburb at our local grocery store. Everybody was clapping and excited about ICE being there. People were hooting and hollering, chanting for ICE.
Like there needs to be more law enforcement within the state itself, because look how bad you see Minneapolis, these videos and the terrible things that are happening to ICE officers. I'm so happy President Trump is just pushing harder against these people and making sure that the state of Minnesota and every sanctuary state is safe.
So a short time ago, there was a hearing with people testifying, and now that's wrapped up, and there's a Q&A session happening behind the doors behind me. I'm going to hop in there and see if we can ask a few questions as this continues. I'll send it back to you.
All right, Joe Mueller, thank you so much for the update.
Joining us now to weigh in is the state of Minnesota state representative behind those articles of impeachment, Mike Wiener. Mike, it's a pleasure to have you on. So talk about it. Why are you doing this?
Well, thanks for having me on. Why am I doing this? Massive amounts of fraud. We look at this, $9 billion, what Joe Thompson estimated. That's real money, and there has to be accountability. No matter who is the governor of this state, they have to be accountable for those taxpayer dollars.
What is the next step? I know you filed 4 articles of impeachment.
We start session mid-February, February 17th, and they can be dropped then. That's when the proceedings really start. Myself and a core group of legislators have really been working on this, been spending a lot of time. I kind of took the lead on writing up the legislation, but we're gaining support now. Thanks for the national attention. And really, we want to be known as a state with our beautiful lakes, rivers, people, not a state filled with fraud, not a state that riots every time the governor has to distract from the fraud that's going on. We want peace and quiet. We just want to live our lives, and we don't want to have to deal with the massive fraud and riots that are going on. But if the governor would just work with deporting the illegals that are committing crimes, that are felons, that are murderers, rapists, we wouldn't have this issue. So the real issue here is Walz not working with the federal government to take these criminals out of our state. He can tone down this rhetoric. He can change this so we don't have this conflict going on. It all lies on Walz's shoulders.
So, Mike, in the first article of impeachment, it says this, that the governor violated his constitutional oath of office by knowingly concealing or permitting the concealment of widespread fraud. You're accusing the governor of knowing and then not doing enough or turning a blind eye. That's the way you feel.
Sure, there's almost 500 whistleblowers who have come forward. And we have a fraud committee that's taking testimony, talking to individuals. There is documented evidence that they know what's going to be going on. They've reported it to higher ups, and it's always been cast aside, or they've been told not to proceed with anything because it could be viewed as racist because of some of the connections with the Somalian community. But the spread is larger, or I mean, the fraud is larger than just the Somalian community. It goes across so many departments, so many entities, and it's just massive. And when you follow some of that money, we're seeing it go right back through different entities, right into the campaign coffers of Democrat candidates. So this is really a funneling machine, a campaign funding machine for Democrats, and it's got to stop.
All right, we're going to have to leave it there. State Representative from Minnesota, Mike Wiener, we appreciate it. Thank you.